I've actually gone ahead to cut out the fabric for the front part of our skirt, and please ensure it is in a fold. So this fabric has been folded in two. So the first measurement I'm taking there now will be my waist measurement. So my waist is 32. I divided by 4 and it gave me 8. So I added 2-inch seam allowance. Next is my hip point to my hip measurement. So from my waist to my hip is about 10 inches. And then my hip circumference is actually 42. So I divided it by 4. It gave me 10.5. So I added 2 inches seam allowance to 10.5. So this measurement I'm taking now is 10.5, while the other dot at the extreme is 2 inches extra. So I went over to the bottom, which is the edge of the skirt, and what I usually do is to remove 1 inch from my hip measurement. So it was actually 9.5 inches, which is 1 inch less than 10.5 inches, and then I just went with my straight line from my hip down. So next I'll also be taking the line from my waist with the additional 2 inches seam allowance, which is what you see me measuring now. So that line is for the additional 2 inches seam allowance. Please ensure your fabric is big enough such that after taking your measurement, after taking your seam allowance, then you have a little fabric to cut out of your basic measurement. So I'm done taking the measurement for the front part of my skirt. So next, I'll just trim out my skirt pattern, and then we'll be using it partially to take the measurement for the back of my skirt. So now this is the fabric for the back of my skirt. As you can see, the back fabric is bigger than that of the front because there will be need for our zipper allowances. So this portion that is left out at the front, which I illustrated with my finger, is for our zipper allowance. So I'll just go straight ahead and cut out the edges with the measurement on the front skirt. So that's basically all the measurement required for cutting out a skirt. Please, I'm actually sorry I forgot to record where I was removing 1 inch from the front of the skirt. I usually have a sort of a V shape at the waist of the front. I usually go in by 1 inch, and so the skirt is able to sit properly on the waist. So the back side is higher at the waist than the front side. So please ensure you remove 1 inch from the front in order for your skirt to sit properly. So I'm sure before the end of the video I'll be showing you the differences from the back and the front. So now I've gone over to sew both edges together, and I have some extra seam allowances. So I went to close the back of my skirt partially. You can see there is an opening at the edge of it and also an opening at the waist part of it. So the waist part of it will be for the zipper, while the slitting at the back will be for allowances while working. So next, I'll be attaching my band to the waist of my skirts. So our skirt is almost done. For this first illustration, I did not attach my lining. So if you are to make a skirt without attaching the lining, it's a simple step. Then this one is where you see me attaching my lining to my skirt. So I actually did this to show you how to attach lining to your skirt fabric. What I usually do is to make sure my lining is a bit wider than the fabric I'll be attaching it to it. So as you can see, after running my first stitch, I folded the edges in a form of way such that the fabric was now the one showing at the edge of the lining side. So please ensure you do that first before going to sew both edges together. So at this point, I was done running my stitches on all three fabric. So I'll be cutting out the excesses now, and then after that, I'll be flipping my fabric over to the right side. It's a simple step by step. Every beginner should be able to try this. Every beginner should be able to draw this pattern and actually sew it. So at this point, if you're yet to subscribe, kindly hit the subscribe button and leave us a comment. And you can also share this video to your group. Would love to get feedbacks from you also. So now I'm done cutting out the excesses, so I'm actually flipping it over now to the right side. So after that, I'll go back to iron them out so they'll turn out neatly. So always ensure you iron your lining with your fabric before running it on your sewing machine so it will come out neat. Lest I forget, please ensure to retake your measurement again after attaching your lining to your fabric and then placing the right sides facing each other. Please take your measurement again before doing your sewing. Take your waist measurement again, take your hip measurement again, and take the measurement of the edges. So before going over to the sewing machine. At this point, we are almost done with the making of our skirt. So I'm actually attaching my band, my waistband now, to my skirt, and then I'll be attaching my zipper to the back, and that's at this point we're as good as done with the making of our skirt. So you can see now that my skirt is looking really beautiful. Personally, I love my skirts to have lining. So that will be all for this video. See you in our next. Bye.